Light, Chapter 11, Light, Shadows and Reflections, Class 6 Science. In this topic, we are going to learn about the definition of light, its properties, and the objects which are called luminous, the objects which are called non-luminous, the objects which are called transparent, the objects which are called translucent and opaque. The definition of light is that it is the energy that enables us to see. And light is emitted from a source such as the sun. What are the various properties of light? One of the properties of light is that light travels in a straight line. And when light travels in a straight line, this is known as rectilinear propagation of light. If we look at the image here, we find that there is a burning candle. Then there are three boards with holes of almost equal diameter. A person is sitting on the other side of the board, and on one side the candle is burning. The boards are opaque, means they are not passing light completely, but the holes in them are passing light. When the boy is trying to see the light coming out of the candle, and as observer, when we see from a distance, we find that the light is traveling in a straight line to the observer's eye. So one of the properties of light is that light travels in a straight line, and this is known as rectilinear propagation of light. How do we observe rectilinear propagation of light? We saw in the previous slide a simple arrangement that can be made by us to observe this property of light. Now let us see how to create this arrangement to observe rectilinear propagation of light. We need a few materials. What are these? Let us look at the image inserted on this slide. We need a torchlight, which is also otherwise called flashlight. We need square rectangular wooden board or cardboard. Then we need a cutter, a scissor. We need a segueta, means to cut the board, the object that we will use to cut the board. Then we need this black boards which will act as screen, and a table where all these arrangements could be made. We also need a ruler or tape to measure the length of the boards. So some of the objects that we require to make an arrangement to observe rectilinear propagation of light are square or rectangular wooden portion, flashlight or torch, cutter, rectilinear rod of any material, segueta, ruler or tape measure, cardboard, and black plastic portion. Here, this one, it will act as a screen on which the light should fall. Then what we do? We cut out equal pieces, 4 number of equal pieces from the cardboard. Then by the help of a compass, we draw the circles of equal diameter and take out those portions, creating holes of equal diameter on all the 4 boards. Then we arrange these boards in a straight line on the table. On the other side of all the 4 boards, we have a black colored screen. Then what we do when this arrangement is completed on the table, we take the flashlight or the torch. When we switch off the torch, the light starts to move, and we get a projected light beam on the black screen on the opposite side of the 4 equally arranged boards. And it shows that light rays are traveling through the holes of equal diameter and reaching to the black screen in the form of a projected light beam. You can see here, look at the cursor that I'm showing here. And this demonstration shows that light is traveling in a straight line through the holes made in the board. And this arrangement we generally do in our schools to demonstrate the rectilinear propagation of light. But if you feel that it is hard for you to make an arrangement like this, then you can also make a very simple arrangement using very light and easy to cut boards from the cartons, boards from the Amazon delivered parcels. And you can make an arrangement as I have shown you in the picture, and you can also observe how light travels in a straight line, straight path, which we call rectilinear propagation of light. And this arrangement becomes one of your projects. You all have to prepare a similar type of arrangement to view rectilinear propagation of light. And after you have made a model like this, an arrangement like this, try to flash this torchlight through these holes and observe the light striking the screen on the other side. Make a video and send those videos to me. Then there are different objects that behave differently when there is a source of light. We classify these objects on the basis of whether they pass light through them or not. One such category of objects are known as transparent objects. Transparent objects allow light to pass through them without getting scattered. Here are a few examples of the transparent objects: diamond, glass, lens of a magnifying glass, the contact lenses that people wear to correct their vision, then window pane. These are all examples of transparent objects. Why? Because they allow light to pass through them without getting scattered. Then there is another category of objects known as translucent objects. These objects allow light to pass through them partially. For example, butter paper, color plastic, oil, tissue papers, and glasses. What kind of glasses? The eyeglasses that we wear to protect our eyes from the sun, from the direct light of the sun. Then there is another category of objects known as opaque objects. These objects do not allow any light to pass through them. Let us look at the example here. We are standing outside and we are holding a cardboard cover in our hand. See, a person is holding here. We try to look through the cardboard cover, but we cannot see anything. But when we are looking on the other side of the cardboard, we can see the trees and the sky and the leaves. So air is transparent, but the cardboard cover is not. It is opaque because it does not pass light at all. Then there are objects that we need to classify on the basis of whether they emit light or not. Emit means whether they give out light or not. So there is a category of objects known as luminous object. There is another category of objects known as non-luminous objects. So the objects that emit light and heat are known as luminous objects. For example, the sun and the stars. They give out their own light and heat. Then there are objects that do not produce their own light but reflect the light emitted by luminous objects. For example, the planets, the moon. These objects, planets and the moon, or earth, trees, planets and the moon, they do not give out their own light. Instead, they reflect the light of the sun. So such objects are called non-luminous objects. Now, on the basis of today's learning, here are some homework for you. Now, look at the image given on this slide number 18. Your first question is that I was searching for pictures on transparent, translucent and opaque objects. I came across the image shown here on this slide. Now you have to help me identify transparent object, translucent object and opaque object. And you have to explain how you're going to differentiate between these three objects. Then your question number 2 is, you have to redraw this building in your science note copy. So draw the building shown in the image and label the following parts. You have to label those parts which are transparent. You have to label the parts that are translucent, and then you have to label the part which are opaque. Means you have to draw a line and write whether that part is transparent, translucent or object. Now here is a list of various objects: wood, picture, shawl, jewelry, CD, glass ceiling, writing paper, plastic containers, plastic cans and computer chip. Now what you have to do? You have to sort these materials into transparent object, translucent object or opaque objects. With this we come to the end of this video lesson. Thank you and have a nice day.